According to exit poll data from the 2012 presidential election, voters under 30 were the only group with a majority said that government should be doing more. This is deeply ironic, if not completely crazy. Big government is arguably harming young people worst of all. My name is Jenna Hune, and I'm here to narrate this Economics 101 video from the Center for Freedom and Prosperity on how bloat and inefficiency in Washington are undermining the future of America's youth. There are many ways in which young people are especially being harmed by big government. As America becomes more like Europe, we can expect a dismal, European-style stagnation, which means high youth unemployment and few, if any, opportunities to climb the economic ladder. Heck, we're already seeing some evidence. Look at this chart on average growth last century compared to much weaker numbers for the Bush-Obama years of big government. And in the absence of reform, the combining of demographic change and poorly designed entitlement programs will mean ever larger government in the future. That's a double whammy for young people. Our taxes will go up, yet we'll also suffer with a weak economy. Here are 4 specific ways statism hurts young people. Number 1, high youth unemployment. Number 2, unreasonable healthcare burdens. Number 3, poor returns from Social Security. And number 4, a burgeoning student loan debt crisis. Let's start with youth unemployment. Younger workers tend to be less employable. They have fewer skills, limited experience, and this is reflected in higher levels of unemployment for young workers. Unfortunately, government policies more often than not make this situation worse. In his recent State of the Union address, President Obama called for raising the national minimum wage from $7.25 to $9 an hour.
Tonight, let's declare that in the wealthiest nation on earth, no one who works full-time should have to live in poverty, and raise the federal minimum wage to $9 an hour.
This will be bad news for younger workers who are just trying to get started in the labor market. With fewer skills and the least amount of experience, new workers are less economic value to employers and are most likely to be frozen out of the market. Another contributor to youth unemployment is Obama's healthcare law. By raising the overall cost of employing workers, Obamacare increases joblessness across the board. But again, because young workers have the least amount of experience and skill, they're the hardest hit. Just take a look at youth unemployment rates in some of Europe's welfare states to get an idea of the real-world impact of big government. That brings us to the second issue. 2 specific Obamacare provisions set to go into effect in January 2014 will negatively impact young people. The first is the individual mandate, which compels younger, healthier people to purchase insurance regardless of whether or not they believe they need it, in order to subsidize the higher healthcare costs of the elderly. This is a tremendous burden to put on those who typically have the least financial flexibility. The second item is a lesser-known rule requiring a limit on the difference in premium costs for various age groups. Right now, older people pay more because they're more likely to get sick. Obamacare will reduce the allowed difference between premiums to a ratio of 3 to 1. This will result in dramatic price hikes on the young. Our third issue is a similar case of generational transfers gone wrong. Social Security is a bad deal for young people. This is because the ratio of workers to beneficiaries has been shrinking dramatically for decades. There simply won't be enough workers to support future retirees without both significant tax hikes on today's workers and large benefit cuts for future retirees. So younger workers will get screwed twice: pay more and get less. Already, since 2010, the majority of retirees will get less money and benefits than they were forced to pay in through payroll taxes. So, assuming the program even still exists by the time today's young people retire, they can look forward to a negative return on their money. Our last issue is student loans. Student debt totaled $966 billion at the end of 2012, up 34% from just 4 years ago. And the Federal Reserve Bank of New York reports that almost a third of people with student loans at the end of the year were 90 or more days overdue. Some young people are looking to government to save them, perhaps by forgiving their student loan debt, but government is in fact part of the problem, and forgiveness would do nothing to solve the underlying issue. The government has effectively entered the higher education market as a third-party payer, creating all the typical problems associated with such arrangements, specifically ever higher prices. The best thing the government can do for students is to be less involved. Reducing loan subsidies would force universities to control tuition and end bureaucratic bloat. Youth unemployment, higher healthcare costs, an unfair retirement system, and a burgeoning student loan crisis are just 4 of the many issues faced by young people today. And let's not kid ourselves, these are some serious problems, but each have one simple thing in common. Big government is part of the problem, not the solution. My name is Jenna Hune. Thank you for watching this Economics 101 video from the Center for Freedom and Prosperity. Be sure to share it widely.